breaking news. In the last few minutes, the High Court has ruled the British government's policy of removing asylum seekers to Rwanda is lawful. It is also consistent with the Refugee Convention. We're joined by Home and Security Editor Mark White. Did I just give away your punchline then, Mark White?
No, there's lots to talk about.
Sorry about that if I did. I'm desperate. That was news to me as I was reading it out loud. What's happened?
Yeah, it's a very important moment, clearly, for the government in terms of that Rwanda policy, which has now been deemed to be lawful. We just heard that ruling handed down by the High Court, and Lord Justice Lewis said, "We have concluded that it is lawful for the government to make arrangements for claims to be heard in Rwanda and for claimants to be relocated there." He said, however, the Home Secretary must consider properly the circumstances of each case. Lord Justice Lewis said the Home Secretary has not properly considered the cases of 8 individuals, so the decisions in those 8 cases will be set aside for her to consider afresh. So, effectively, what we had was clearly a challenge in the courts, and it involved 8 of those individuals there. The court has ruled that in those specific cases, they need to be reconsidered. Are those the right people, in other words, to have been trying to send to Rwanda?
Right.
But in terms of the general policy that the government has of trying to relocate those that they deem to be suitable to Rwanda, where it's a one-way ticket, remember, even if in the fullness of time you are deemed to be accepted and granted refugee status, you won't come back to the UK, you will make your new life in Rwanda. The judges are clear. That policy is lawful and in tune with the Refugee Convention. So clearly, very significant for the government. What will be interesting now is we absolutely expect there will, as we always see with our legal process, which can be so drawn out, protracted, frustratingly so, we are going to get an appeal. But will this government now move quickly to get people on a plane and get them to Rwanda to start this process moving? Because remember, that first plane was going to go, there was only less than 100 or so who were on the plane initially. And by the time it was due to go, it was down to, I think, about 8 that were going to go anyway. And then, of course, it got scuppered by the ruling from the ECHR, which asked the UK government to reconsider it again in the UK courts to do that.
Yeah.
So will they now, in the interim, before this appeal is formally launched, get people on a plane, get them to Rwanda, get the process underway? Of course, getting the process started is a far cry from actually the full process working in terms of it being a deterrent, because sending a few hundred people is not a deterrent. 45,000 people have come across in the last year. You will have to really send many thousands of people to Rwanda as part of an ongoing policy for it really to be seen as any kind of deterrent.
OK, fantastic. Thank you, Mark.